Okay, now.
I'm the top dog in the league, homie.
Yeah.
Let's speak on it. The stretch for anybody to reach on me.
Don't reach.
Just breathe on it. Don't tell them. They gotta know it's me
They know
on it.
it.
Won't kick it on me and go for three
know
on
it.
you. You couldn't guard me with the cleanest armor.
know.
I got it covered.
Yeah.
These corners. I'm the top.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to D's Corner. Again, I'm D. Thank you for taking time out to watch the video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Help my channel grow. Truly appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and get started. We're going into my series of videos before the beginning of the season as teams get ready to trim their rosters down to 53. This is one player on every team that team should consider trading as they get ready to get down to 53 players. First, I'm going to start off with the NFC West. I'm going to try to break it down by divisions. The NFC West, the Arizona Cardinals, I think they should go ahead and trade Haason Reddick. It's a multiple facet linebacker. A team that I could see him being traded to is the Carolina Panthers, who lost Luke Kuechly to retirement, but they actually gained Haason Reddick's old college coach in Matt Rule. I don't think it'll take much to get him. I honestly don't believe that he'll be on the roster as the season begins next week. They went heavy on linebacker and throughout the free agency and the draft. I just don't see a spot left on the team for Haason Reddick. The Seattle Seahawks, I think they should try to trade KJ Wright. He's been a stalwart on that team for a long time, him and Bobby Wagner. But he's on the last year of his deal. Not sure if they're going to re-sign him. They drafted basically his replacement in Jordan Brooks. But they also have Shaquem Griffin. Let him get on the field. His contract's winding down. Let him get on the field. Let him see what he can do. You got these younger guys. Sometimes it's just time to move on. And I think it's time to move on from KJ Wright, even though I do think he is still a very valuable asset to that team. With this particular player, I would say take the Belichick role. Get rid of him a year early rather than a year late. For Los Angeles Rams, I think they should consider trading tight end Gerald Everett. He's in the last year of his deal. They re-signed Higbee, but Everett's a really good tight end, really athletic tight end, a good pass catching tight end. There's a lot of teams that could use that. Maybe the New England Patriots, the Indianapolis Colts. Trey Burton's only on a one-year deal. Mo Alley-Cox is on the last year of his deal, and Burton's dealing with injuries right now. So right now we only have Jack Doyle and Mo Alley-Cox. Why not go ahead and see what the Rams would be asking for him? But that would beef up the tight end room in Indy. It would also beef up the tight end room, and he would be the tight end one if he was traded to New England. The San Francisco 49ers, I think they should consider trading cornerback Ahkello Witherspoon, former Colorado quarterback. Crazy long. He's got good speed. I just don't think he was able to put everything together within this system. They brought in Richard Sherman to kind of teach him and help him along, but I think he did have some injuries, and he had flashes of plays, but then he had flashes of just bust, basically. So, I mean, if you're going to get rid of someone, in my opinion, who's young, who's at a position of need at cornerback, this is a tough NFL league. They are a pass-happy league, so you're going to need as many defensive backs as you can. With his size alone, there's going to be a lot of suitors if they make him available for trade. Next up, we got the NFC South. I think the Atlanta Falcons should consider trading Alex Mack. He's in the last year of his deal. They basically drafted his replacement with Hennessy, the center from Temple. I also think this team is going to be basically in a rebuild mode before you know it. That 28-3 lead over the New England Patriots had their Super Bowl window wide open, and that when that game clock reached all zeros, that window came smashing close. I honestly was going to even consider Julio Jones as he's getting older. They do have Calvin Ridley. I know that Atlanta fans would probably hate to hear that, but get what you can get while you can get it, because you are going to be trying to rebuild this team before you know it. If Dan Quinn doesn't produce this year, I could see him being completely removed from the team. And when you get a new coach, basically you're starting over. Matt Ryan is getting older. Julio Jones is getting older. Their defense is porous. Trade him. Get what you can get out of Mac. He's an older center. He's in the last year of his contract, but he is a stout center. He's been a stout center since he entered the league with the Cleveland Browns. Give him an opportunity to go win. Give him an opportunity to make this last year possibly count, because I do not see the Falcons being able to do anything this year. For the Carolina Panthers, I think they should trade third string, second string, if you will, quarterback Will Grier. They brought in Teddy Bridgewater, also brought in PJ Walker, who was the quarterback for Matt Rule at Temple. Kind of have two things going against you. A lot of teams may not even carry three quarterbacks. Will Grier produced very well at West Virginia. Go ahead. I would put him on the market and see what we could get for him. If you stash him on your practice squad, I'm pretty sure someone will scoop him. So right now, Matt Rule's trying to build the Carolina Panthers in his image, and I don't see Will Grier being in his image, as he was not the coach who drafted him. Go ahead and get rid of him. Get what you can get from him. Make a play. Give the kid an opportunity to go somewhere and learn, go somewhere and develop, go somewhere and have opportunity to begin his career. For the New Orleans Saints, if you haven't, you can go back and check my Alvin Kamara video, but I think the New Orleans Saints should trade Alvin Kamara. I know a lot of New Orleans Saints fans feel that this is going to be a Super Bowl year for them, or this has the possibility of being a Super Bowl year for them. But what about after this year? What do you do after this year? Because if they do win the Super Bowl, Drew Brees is going to be gone. You are cap strapped, like you are stuck. 31st, I believe, with available cap space next year. Everyone's talking about the revenue and everything taking a hit, and the cap space actually going down next year, which does not work in your favor. And you have a plethora of people coming up on contracts, people that you need to sign. Ramczyk, the offensive tackle, Marshawn Lattimore are the biggest two outside of Kamara. The running back is not a value position. There is going to be a great running back draft. A running back free agency class next year. There's going to be a solid running back draft class next year. Would you rather be bringing in a valuable young quarterback with a solid offensive line, a solid defense, Michael Thomas, or would you be worried about bringing a young quarterback along with an offensive line that has holes now because you were unable to sign Ramczyk, and a defense that's now porous because you couldn't get Marshawn Lattimore under contract, but you signed your running back? And I think the Saints are... Sean Payton is very creative when it comes to offensive play calls. Not taking anything away from Alvin Kamara by any means. The guy's fantastic at what he does. He's very versatile. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can run in between the tackles. He can bounce it out wide. Go ahead and make him available. Again, this video is about one player I think every team should consider trading. They would definitely have to consider trading him. He just recently had a small holdout, and then it was about his back. Last year, he was not the same running back without Mark Ingram, even though he was nursing an injury. Latavius Murray was a beast inside running the ball. And I think there's going to be options. If you get rid of Alvin Kamara, I think there's going to be options on the free agency market pretty soon. Because you got to think every team's going from 80-man roster down to 53, I think, by the end of the week. So this would just be a fantastic move. You get off of a contract that you don't honestly want to pay. No one wants to pay running backs. And then you get something for him. So that's basically, you're in a win-win situation if you're the Saints. If you keep him good and you get to the Super Bowl, perfect. If you don't and you trade him and you don't get to the Super Bowl, or you do get to the Super Bowl, that's cool. That's fine too, because either way, the organization has to start looking to the future. Drew Brees is not going to be around. Last year he got hurt. If something happens again this year and he gets hurt, who knows what they're going to do? Are they going to turn into turnover Jameis Winston, or are they going to turn to 6 plays a game weapon Taysom Hill? I just don't know. And then next year, it doesn't make sense to me. You got your backup quarterback making $16 million, and your franchise running backs making 2.1. Taysom Hill plays, like I said, about 6-7 plays a game, when Alvin Kamara is one of the vessels that your offense flows through. And for the most part of his career, he was the second option in the receiving game, opposite Michael Thomas, and he was the second option in the running game, sometimes the first option in the running game, when him and Mark Ingram were splitting carries. Next up, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who, before the Leonard Fournette signing, I suggested they should trade or consider trading running back Ronald Jones. Ronald Jones has not really lived up to the draft status, or he hasn't had the production that they envisioned him having. They brought in Shady McCoy before the Leonard Fournette signing. They also drafted Keyshawn Vaughn, the running back out of Vanderbilt. Vaughn and Shady are very good at catching the ball out of the backfield. Leonard Fournette showed last year with his 76 receptions out of the backfield that he's also very capable of catching the ball out of the backfield, as well as pounding the rock inside. With the weapons that they have, they won't face loaded boxes because of the quarterback that they also have. There is a very, very, very good chance this team goes to the Super Bowl, makes the playoffs. It hasn't made the playoffs for a very long time. A lot of people are high on this team. It just makes sense in my mind. Trade Ronald Jones. He's young. I think he has one more year left on his contract. Go ahead and see what you can get for him. I mean, you've already retooled this position. He's not going to be re-signed. No one's basically re-signing running backs that aren't producing. Look at the situation again with the Saints and Alvin Kamara. He has produced, but he's been injured and he has had to hold out, and now all that contract issue is out now in the media and within the public. Next up, we're going to go ahead with the NFC North. The Chicago Bears, I feel like they should consider trading wide receiver Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson is in the last year of his contract. I doubt that he would want to sign. The quarterback situation is terrible there. If I'm Allen Robinson, you got to look, okay, the Packers, who have one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, no wide receivers basically outside of Devontae Adams. If I'm able to make it to the market, why not go ahead and shoot and play for the Packers, play with the Packers? In Jacksonville, he didn't have a quarterback. In Chicago, he hasn't had a quarterback. And this guy's immensely talented. He's young, and he can actually recoup the Bears some form of assets, especially if he's not going to re-sign. The Detroit Lions, I think they should trade linebacker Jared Davis, who's been a bust. He was a first-round pick, which is the only reason I'm saying they should trade him, is because he was a first-round pick instead of releasing him. They've already brought in his replacement in Jamie Collins. And I'm just a big believer that if I take someone with the first round and they don't work out, before I release them, I do want to try to trade them and recoup something back. If you release them, you get nothing. You trade them, you can get something. The Green Bay Packers, I feel like they should trade cornerback Josh Jackson. Since drafting him out of Iowa, he kind of never fit the system or the defensive scheme. He's kind of been riding the pine. He's a very, very good zone cornerback. He has great eyes, great instincts. He's long. A team like the Seattle Seahawks, the San Francisco 49ers, or even the Atlanta Falcons would be great fits for him as the systems that they run. Plus, he's not going to play. You got Jair Alexander. Kevin King is going to be a free agent. They're probably going to try to retool the cornerback room next year, and it's not going to be with Josh Jackson. So why not just go ahead and trade him before you're forced to cut him? And with the Minnesota Vikings, I think they should trade or consider trading cornerback Mike Hughes, who they drafted, I believe it was in the first round or the second round a couple years ago. They let go of Mackenzie Alexander, Xavier Rhodes, as well as Trey Waynes all this past offseason. But they retooled the cornerback room as well. Hughes is coming off of an injury. He has added value as a return man, so I think you could get more for your buck if trading him. I think that would be the best move for the Minnesota Vikings, who right now, this past season when they traded, the past offseason when they traded Stephon Diggs, they got so many picks back, and they basically retooled their team with cap space, with cap space left over, so that's pretty good. Finally, we're going with the NFC East. I think the New York Giants should consider trading defensive tackle, nose tackle, Dalvin Tomlinson. He's in the last year of his contract. I don't think they will re-sign him, as their defensive line has depth throughout both edge positions as well as the nose tackle, with them running a 3-4. They kind of screwed themselves with the trade for Leonard Williams and then franchise tagging him, because now you've given up assets, you've given him a big franchise tag. You're going to have to pay him. If not, you kind of look silly for what you've done. And I don't think they're going to pay him and Dalvin Tomlinson. So I just think trading Dalvin Tomlinson, you could get a little bang for your buck. The Washington football team, I think they should consider trading Reuben Foster. Reuben Foster's had issues since being in the NFL. He was highly touted coming out of Alabama, but he fell in the draft because of his issues. Since being in Washington, you'll see he's in a 49ers jersey, as he has rarely played in with the Washington football team. I believe he tore his ACL when he first got there, but he did play last year. This team is trying to build a brand new culture. This team is trying to build a brand new atmosphere. They're trying to build a winning team, a championship team with blue chip, high character guys. Even though Reuben Foster hasn't had any issues the last 2 seasons, maybe, he is almost as a walking time bomb, especially with multiple domestic abuse allegations against him. The Dallas Cowboys, I feel like they should consider trading Michael Gallup, only because they paid Amari Cooper so much money and then they drafted CeeDee Lamb, who fell into their lap. I honestly believe if they know they had an opportunity for CeeDee Lamb, they're not going to re-sign Amari Cooper, and they were going to go forward with Gallup and CeeDee Lamb. Amari Cooper basically only plays in home games. There was some disappointing games where he was pulled, I believe, at the end, the last game of the season against the Eagles. He checked himself out against the Patriots because Stephon Gilmore had him on lock. He's a quiet guy. He just doesn't seem like he has that dog in him. And CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup, they just seem like they're hungry young guys. But if Michael Gallup has a big season this year, and if you listen to Zeke or you listen to the wide receivers, all of them think they're going to have 1,000 yards. If that's the case, Michael Gallup's going to have a big payday, and it won't be in Dallas. Why not go ahead and trade him? And finally, we got the Philadelphia Eagles, who I think should consider trading Alshon Jeffrey. It's been out before. Alshon Jeffrey has kind of, quote-unquote, bashed Carson Wentz, especially when Nick Foles was there. Even Alshon Jeffrey has been hurt all last season. He's still hurt this year. Expect to miss the first couple of weeks. But he's a big-bodied wide receiver. He's a veteran wide receiver. He has nice hands. He's going to get you something. Plus, you retooled this position as well. Why not go ahead and get rid of him now? Again, take the Belichick approach. Go ahead and get rid of him a year too soon rather than a year too early. Last year with the injury, now it's linking over into this season. This seems like this is probably the year too late route right now, just due to the injuries. That's it for everyone in the NFC. Stay tuned for the AFC. One player every team should consider trading. Appreciate you taking your time to watch the video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on my notifications. You'll be notified anytime I post a video. I truly, truly, truly appreciate it. But again, here at D's Corner, I'm out of here.
Okay, now. I'm the top dog in the league, homie. Yeah. Let's speak on it. This stretch for anybody to reach on me. Just breathe on it, don't tell them. They gotta know it's me on it. Won't kick it on me and go for 3 on you. You couldn't guard me with the cleanest armor. I got it covered. D's Corner. I'm the top dog in the league, homie. Let's speak on it. This is a stretch for anybody to reach on me. Just breathe on it, don't tell them. They gotta know it's me on it. We don't kick it on and go for 3 on you. You couldn't guard me with the cleanest armor. I got it covered. D's Corner, like, yeah.